We are here on a Saturday morning giving you the best in the world of sports. The frequencies still remain the same: channel 254 DSTV, channel 17 GoTV, and channel 748 Free TV. And we're running a simulcast this morning because we are also connected to AFIA 99.3 AFIA Radio. That is our radio station. So you can call in and you can listen to us right now on the radio. It is a pleasure to be here one more time on the 11th day of the month of October, the year of our Lord 2025. And I know that many of us who are Nigerians, who are lovers of sports, particularly football, are in a bit of a good mood because hope is really rising at the moment. But we'll talk more about that in a bit. Welcome to the show, guys. I am your host, CC Mbappe, popularly known as CC the Rabbi, and I'm not doing this alone. I have by my side Emeka Maduoke, the priest of football himself.
Thank you for having me this morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
Good to have you, Emeka.
It's good to be here.
We did this yesterday, and we got pretty much what we were looking for. In a way. Let's leave it as in a way. Okay. So we just need to be a bit more, tentative and pensive regarding what's happening, and hopefully, coming this Tuesday, all things are going to fall in place.
Right? Hopefully.
Okay. So some of you who are wondering what these men are talking about, you will find out what we're talking about in a bit. But first, we'll go to the headlines. Starting from the home front, the NPFL, the Nigerian Premier Football League, we have a bit of news coming from there. First of all, one of the key fixtures has to be an Oriental Derby, the Southeastern Derby between Kun Khalifat, based in Owerri, up against Enyimba. Now, of course, Enyimba are the visitors in this, but until recently, Enyimba will be visiting their own home. That's the situation there. But because Kun Khalifat, who are based in Owerri, have a little issue with the renovation of their own stadium. As a result, they had to borrow the Enyimba International Stadium in Aba, but they have returned to Owerri. So that means Enyimba will no longer host as guests, if you get what I mean. So Kun Khalifat will be playing host in the real sense of the word to Enyimba, the 9-time champions of the NPFL, in a Matchweek 8 Oriental Derby. Then we have FIFA World Cup qualifying news. Yesterday, we are getting closer to that, but yesterday, part of the good news was the fact that South Africa and Zimbabwe could only muster a goalless draw, an ill-tempered game that had two players sent off, one for either side. But the game was played, even though the game was played in Durban, South Africa, thanks to the shenanigans of the powers that be. But still, South Africa were not able to get the win that they were looking for to more or less consolidate their place on that plane to the World Cup next year in the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. So it was a goalless draw, which bodes well for Nigeria's chances to qualify for the World Cup. And we also have news from the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, but away from the CAF Zone to the UEFA Zone. Sweden, quite surprisingly, are on the verge. It's quite early, still early, after 3 games played, but still on the verge of not making it to the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico. That is for the World Cup 2026, because they are rock bottom in their group, thanks to a loss that they suffered at home, 2-0 to Switzerland, a game that had Granit Xhaka score and Briembolo score one of the goals. But what was a bit of a surprise there was the fact that 2 of Europe's deadliest strikers from recent seasons were on the pitch but were not able to do enough, referring to Arsenal's Vitor Gyokeres and I almost said Newcastle United, Liverpool Football Club's Alexander Isak. So that is a cause for concern for the national side, unless they start firing all guns, all cylinders blazing and everything in the next matches. So those are the headline news. That's the headline news that we have at the moment. And we're going straight to what's happening right now. The NPFL Matchweek 8 fixtures. We're going to look at those fixtures, please. I know that the MCR will do us the favor of giving us those fixtures, because we have one key fixture that we would love to look at, and that's the Flying Antelopes, Rangers International of Enugu, traveling all the way to Nasarawa United to play against the league leaders. Yes, you heard that right. Nasarawa United are currently the league leaders at the moment in the NPFL, having garnered more points than other teams at the moment, and of course scored more goals than any other team. Well, they have the same number of goals as some teams anyway. Likewise, Rangers, 7 goals scored, but one of the best defenses with 2 goals conceded. So Rangers face a tough task of going to the league leaders who have the deadliest striker from last season in their ranks, referring to Anas Yusuf. So we're looking at that. We'll look at the fixtures for the round of 8 in the NPFL for this week. Emeka, you do us the honors, won't you?
All the games are being played tomorrow, being Sunday 12th, 2025 of October. Castilla United hosts Remo Stars, the defending champions. AFIA Warriors will be looking to get back to winning ways after the defeat to Rangers. They'll be hosting El Kanami Warriors. Rivers United will be hosting Bayelsa United in the Southern Derby there. Warri Wolves will be hosting Niger Tornadoes. Plateau United will be hosting Barrow FC. Wiki Torres hosts Croix United. Kano Pillars hosts 3SC. Kun Khalifat and Oriental Derby there versus Enyimba. Nassau United, the league leaders at the moment, hosting 5th place Rangers. Ikorodu City, Oga Boys will host Bender Insurance.
Okay, so looking at, just because of time, we're looking at those two games, particularly the game we're more interested in has to be Rangers International traveling, the Flying Antelopes.
Yes.
I almost said flying, they're Flying Antelopes, but the Antelopes. So, going all the way to Nasarawa, to Lafia base side to try and get something. The best that Rangers have been able to get on the road this season has to be that draw away at Wiki Tourist,
yes.
a 2-all draw. So it's now time to try and convert your away draws to wins, and this is a big opportunity, but it's a stern test because they say that the bigger they come, the harder they fall. So Rangers going to Nassau United. This is a Nassau United, like we've pointed out, that are top on the log, and Rangers are 5th on the log, and they have a +5 goal difference with Rangers with a +2 goal difference. So 5 points separates them. Nassau United have 16 points, Rangers 11 points,
yes.
but they've scored the same number of goals. So Rangers have goals in them. And of course, most time we have to thank the highest goal scorer for Rangers this season. That's Gordon Obaje. He has been
yes.
scoring goals. I think that should be 4 out of the 7 goals that have been scored. So goals are in this team, but they need to really look at the defense. 5 goals considered is not acceptable for a team that really wants to contend and compete for the title and equal Enyimba's 9 titles.
Well, I mean, Rangers last season had a very bad season, and this season they started off roughly, but they've been able to turn it around in 3 games. And thanks to Godwin Obaje and the rest of the boys that have been able to get the goals in there to turn this from 17th place to 5th place now on the table currently. But now the thing is, they've been leaking goals. They've scored goals, but they've been leaking goals. Now it's time to shut up the shop and try and score the goals we've been scoring. Keep scoring the goals, but concede less. Now it's going to be a stern test because, I mean, we have the top goal scorer from last season, and that's Yusuf. And he's going to be wanting to put up his goal scoring boots and see if he can get some more goals for Nassau United to keep them at top. But I mean, it's going to be a very tough battle for the Flying Antelopes to go there and master even a point or even get a win. But is it impossible? It's not impossible. The coach just needs to get the tactics right on the day.
Okay, I would like to be an optimist in this regard, because if you're going to compare Rangers' starts this season with last season, where they were defending the league title that they won the previous season,
yes.
it is much better at the moment, because I'm a firm believer in the fact that bad starts have a way of determining bad seasons most times.
Mm-hmm.
And Rangers had a relatively bad start last season, maybe the hangover of winning the previous season. But it's good to know that Rangers, the Flying Antelopes, are yet to concede a goal at home at the Cathedral. It's been a fortress. I know that at this time last season, if my memory serves me right, Rangers had already shipped in 4 goals against Kano Pillars at home.
Mm-hmm.
They were losing 4-0, and then by halftime, second half, Isaac Xavier, who has now gone on to Pastors New, came on, and some other players came on. He scored a brace, 2 pile drivers from distance, ended up 4-3. So Rangers have at least tightened. Fidelis Elechuka has done a good job there, and with under the tutelage of Barrister Amobo Ezeaku, the CEO himself,
yes.
the MD of Rangers, they've tightened up at the back, and 5th is not a very bad position to be in at the moment. I'm just trying to be optimistic.
Yes, at the moment it's not
a very bad
yes.
position to be in after 8 match days. I think we have cause to be a bit optimistic concerning Rangers. Right?
Yeah, there's a bit of optimism when you look at Rangers at the moment, because looking at where they started off, I mean, they started off in the relegation zones in 17th place. That was very poor. But like I said, in the space of 3 games, they've been able to turn that around and take themselves from 17th straight to 5th. So if they could muster a good performance, they can get an all-important win and muster the 3 points, which will see them go higher up on the table. Now, it's whether they can continue this good run of form and also close the back, because that's the important thing. They've not been poor in the front. They've been scoring goals, like we've pointed out. Now it's for them to close off the back. How do you do that? You just have to have a solid game plan as defensive-wise as they do attacking-wise.
Okay, beautiful. No, I would like to have a prediction very quickly.
No, I know I dropped one yesterday.
Feel free to revise that prediction.
I raised a lot of eyebrows yesterday saying it's going to be a 2-0 draw. But, I mean, if Fidelis and his boys are going to muster up something strong at Lafia, I believe that it's going to be a 2-1 victory to the Rangers or a 2-0 draw. So I'm still sticking with yesterday. I'm hanging on the fence. Okay. Either a 2-1 victory to Rangers or a 2-0 draw.
Just make sure that fence is made of strong concrete or metal. Because
it's not the wall of Jericho that trust.
Cool. Okay, so having said that, we move swiftly to the good news that we saw yesterday. We enjoyed a bit of good news yesterday because those of us who are fans of football in Nigeria and who have decided to keep the hope alive witnessed something that could be a modern-day miracle in footballing terms, referring to the fact that Nigeria, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, got a vital win yesterday in the FIFA World Cup, the penultimate FIFA World Cup qualifying game in Group C, CAF Zone, where they went to South Africa and then played against Lesotho and beat them 2-1. Now, that's 3 wins recorded so far in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, 3 wins that are credited to the man, Eric Sekuchel. Let's not forget that. Yes. He was able to get the wins where his predecessors, Finidi George and Jose Pizarro, could not get them. But I digress. This was a very, very feisty game indeed that had Nigeria play to the best of their abilities there. The lineup was there. Everybody saw what happened. A 4-4-3 formation, 4-3-3 formation, I beg your pardon. Nigeria had Stanley Nwabali between the sticks, and then Benjamin Frederick, who played as right back in the absence of Ola Aina and the injury to Bright Osai Samuel. Then our left back, Bruno Onyemaechi, played with the centre-back pairing of Calvin Bassey and William Troost Ekong, the captain. Then in the midfield, we had Wilfred Ndidi returning from that injury that he picked in the game against South Africa, returning to play in South Africa. And then you had Moses Simon, who played in a slightly deeper role in the midfield, but an attacking position all the same, alongside Alex Iwobi. They were tasked with providing the creativity and the spark needed there, the craft, to add to the graft that was being given by Wilfred Ndidi. Then up front, we had 3 strikers up front there. Ademola Lookman, the current African Player of the Year, was playing as a left wing forward, and he was supporting Victor Osimhen and, of course, Tolu Arokodare, the Wolverhampton Wanderers striker. And these played. They did everything they could. Eventually, Nigeria won the game with goals. William Chusekong Skipo himself, the captain, scoring his 8th international goal for Nigeria. And every goal he scored for Nigeria has been a clutch goal so far this season. I mean, since he started playing, almost 80 caps for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Then we had somebody come off the bench for Victor Osimhen. That's Ekong and Adams, the man who was fresh off the back of that goal he scored in the 4-1 mauling that Sevilla handed out to Barcelona in the Spanish La Liga. And he was on the score sheet just about 18 minutes after coming on in the second half. He was on the score sheet. Yeah, Nwabali decided to show his other side by
his funny side.
His funny side by conceding a goal. But Nigeria held on and eventually won the game, which now opens up that group a bit. So destiny beckons. Nigeria is currently with, I would say, Nigeria has the knife, but not the yam. Or should I say the yam, but not the knife? They have one thing anyway.
You have the yam, but not the knife.
So right now you have to make sure that it's the only team that can prevent Nigeria from going to the World Cup. Only 2 teams can prevent Nigeria from going for the World Cup. And in terms of results, Nigeria themselves and Rwanda. So right now, because of that draw that Zimbabwe, we talked about that in the headlines, the draw that Zimbabwe got against South Africa, it's now a situation with Benin Republic having 17 points, South Africa 15 points, Nigeria 14 points. Yes. So all the mathematics, all our calculators are out
FC.
now. Calculators FC are on the move again. As it stands right now, what is remaining is this. Very simple. Nigeria must get a win over Benin Republic in Uyo on Tuesday and hope that South Africa do not win Rwanda. So if Rwanda prevents South Africa from winning, a draw will be okay because a draw will give South Africa 16 points.
Yes.
So Nigeria winning Benin Republic will be 17 points, tied with Benin Republic. So that's where goal difference comes in. And the good thing about it is that if Nigeria wins Benin Republic, because Benin Republic have a +5 goal difference, Nigeria have a +3 goal difference, a win, any win, will at best put Nigeria, at worst rather, put Nigeria on the same goal difference. That is a +4. A 1-0 win or a 1-goal margin win will put Nigeria on a +1 or rather on a plus four goal difference alongside Benin Republic.
Yes.
So that means what Nigeria need to do to make sure that there will be no stories told anyway. You know, we normally hear different
Score more than 2 goals.
Score 2 goals. Not even more than 2 goals. 2 goals is okay. Score 2 goals. Win by 2 goals and hope that Nigeria, or rather hope that South Africa do not win their game. And the United States of America, Canada, and Mexico, what seemed almost impossible now becomes probable.
Yeah, it's just a blurry vision right now. I mean, the win over Lesotho was a good start. Even though we didn't do ourselves more justice yesterday, we should have scored like 3-4 goes so that the goal difference could help us out.
Very true.
Conceding the goal there was crazy from Wabali, but I mean, it has happened. Now we have to do the job on Tuesday at Uyo. Get 1, 2, 3 goals. We don't care how many you score. Just score the goals and close up the back. Don't concede any goals. Just score as many goals as you can. You know, it's easier said than done, but that's just what has to be done. You have to do your part while you hope, like we always do in this part of the country, hope and pray and bring out our calculators and wait for South Africa to draw or lose to Rwanda. That's just what has to happen on Tuesday.
Okay, I just want to look at one thing before we move to the next point.
Yes.
What does every secretary have to do to get the win over Nigeria's former manager, as Genaro, because Genaro is the current manager of Benin Republic and he was a long-serving coach of Nigeria. And a good number of the players that you have in the Super Eagles setup are players that are known to Genaro, that he gave their first starts. People like William Ekong was given his first start by Genaro. People like Alex Iwobi. Alex Iwobi was given his debut by Genaro. Then you look at people like even Victor Osimhen, he featured under Genaro. These are players that he knows well. Now, some of the players, even Ademola Lookman too, some of the players that are the new kids around the block who have received their debut since Raw had left, people like Tolu Orakodare, who has made a solid impact. Ekong and Adams on his debut scored. Benjamin Frederick was not there when Genaro was still there. So. Then of course Genaro was not the one who brought Stanley Nwabali in. That was Jose Pisiro. Yes. So I'm just wondering. Yes, Genaro is a very, very brilliant tactician, a seasoned manager.
Yes, he is.
But he does not have the advantage of having coached some of these players. Ekong Adams came off the bench, impacted the game, and I have to make that correction. I said that Adams replaced Victor Osimhen. No, he replaced Tolu Arakodare.
Yes,
it was actually Semi Ajayi that replaced Osimhen to beef up the defense. Shut up shop at the back. So, to what degree will this, should I say, element of surprise benefit Nigeria against a very familiar foe?
Okay. I was just thinking about it while you were discussing this, and I was saying there has to be a lineup change from our man Sekochel. He's going to have to drop a strong team that is going to be surprising to get as well. Now, I'm not saying you should not use the players that Raw used in his time because you want to change up or surprise him. If they need be, employ the services of those players. But I mean, this is the strong setup that I think he should go with. At back, Wabali, obviously, even though he has his moments of craziness, still maintain him in the sticks. I know some people will be calling for shots to try out Maduka Okoye and some of the others on the bench, but let's stick to what's working for us. Wabali should start in the sticks. Benjamin Fredericks and Calvin Bassey should start in the centre-back pairing. No disrespect to Ekong, we love the goal he scored, but I don't think he should start that game. Probably when you want to close up the shop after maybe you have done the job of getting goal margins, you can do that by employing services to close up the game.
So who plays right back?
Right back.
That's actually the main issue because he was played out of position to solve a need because he was the only right-sided defensive-minded player who could do that well.
Now, considering that now, if we are to play a 4-4-2 now, that means you're going to have to push the Fredericks down to the right wing and employ the services of Ekong. That means you're leaving the left-sided place, which I believe should fall to Zaidu Sanusi. He came in yesterday, had a good game. Yes, you have said the goal came from that flank, but it wasn't him that caused the goal. Zaidu Sanusi should start in the left back. You have Calvin Bassey down on the left side of the centre back. You have Ekong on the right side, just along with him. Fredericks plays the right back. Now, I said the 4-4-2. 4-man midfield. You're going to have Lookman, Ekong Adams in there. You're going to have on the flanks Gyokeres and Simon on the flanks. The front two obviously has to be Diary and Osimhen. That's just what has to play out. We need a strong, solid team that can go there, get goals in the first half. I mean, yes, it was a strong team yesterday, but they were not clicking. This side seems to be a stronger team that would click in the first half. At least, if not in the first 10 minutes, by the 20th or 30th minute, we should be able to expect goals.
Okay, we will get to that point anyway. We at least, thank goodness, we have a show on Monday, which will be the eve of the D-Day.
Yes,
and we will talk more about that. We'll look at the match that will be coming, that final match, which might just be a date with destiny. We will do that. So the match schedule is there for all to see. You're looking at the match schedule. It's very, very clear. Match day 10, which is the final day, set of matches in the FIFA World Cup qualifying rounds for the CAF Zone from the 12th to the 14th of October. So, go ahead.
All right, Ivory Coast hosts Kenya. I believe Nigeria will be taking on Benin Republic at home at Oyo. Burkina Faso will be hosting Ethiopia. Ghana hosts Comoros. DR Congo hosts Sudan. Algeria, who have already they've done the job, qualified for the World Cup, will be hosting Uganda. South Africa will be hosting Rwanda. Senegal will be hosting Mauritania. Morocco, who have done the job already, will be hosting Congo, and Somalia will be looking to bounce back from lackluster performances against Mozambique.
So that's those are the fixtures there. We know the ones that catch our attention, the ones that we are concerned with. There are only two fixtures there that Nigerians are concerned with. And
South Africa versus Rwanda and Nigeria versus Benin Republic.
As simple as that. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Hope is not a business strategy, but come on, we have to.
One eye on the match, one eye on your life scores.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go on a very quick break, and when we return, we're going to go to other parts because FIFA World Cup qualifiers, it's a World Cup, not an African Cup. World Cup. So the other games have been playing around, and also other bits of news in the world of sports. Stick around, don't touch that dial. This is still the AFIA Home of Sports on AFIA TV, running a simulcast as usual, also with 99.3 AFIA Radio involved. Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back in a bit. Welcome back to the AFIA Sports Show. That is the AFIA Home of Sports on AFIA TV. The frequencies still remain the same. Channel 254 DSTV, Channel 17 Go TV, and Channel 748 Free TV. And we're running a simulcast, which includes 99.3 AFIA Radio. So you can call us and participate. I'm sure we have many excited Nigerians because of what happened yesterday. But hold your horses because it's not yet done and dusted. But still, there is cause to celebrate because of the win over Lesotho yesterday. So our call lines still remain the same. 09116 993 993. That's 09116 993 993. Those are the call lines for you to participate in this show. We have other bits of news concerning the World Cup and beyond, but there is something that's happening this coming November in Enugu, the coal city. My Enugu Story. I think, Emeka, you have to do us the honors regarding Enugu Story. My Enugu Story is coming up this day, that's this November.
Yes.
And we have what it takes right now.
All right, my Enugu Story, a letter to my hood, all my motherland. That's the theme of this year's edition. And I believe the participations, how to participate is you either drop in a videography entry or a poem or a video. I mean, you have to just drop in some submissions there. You have a videography submissions there. You have the poem. You have I think a letter there you write. Then the cash prizes for the winner. So the winner goes on with a sum of 500k, $500,000. Then we have 300k for runners-up. Then we have the 100k. Then for best entries, I think, 100k as well.
So the entries started coming in, I think that's on the 15th of September, and they'll run through till the 1st of November. So you still have a little bit of time. 1st of November is not as far as you think. So please.
It's just by the corner.
Just by the corner. So do your utmost if you want to participate in my Enugu Story. A letter to my hood or my motherland. And it's open to everybody who grew up, who is actually from the southeast, or grew up in the southeast, that is the 5 states in the southeast, Enugu, Anambra, Imo, Ebonyi, and Abia State. Anybody who is at home or in diaspora, you can be part of this, so make sure you get involved. This is our homecoming as far as AFIA is concerned, the AFIA family. So, still talking about family, move away from that, and then we'll look at the games that were played in the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. We've been spending a lot of time in the African zone, but we had other results there coming from the European zone. We had some games that were played yesterday and also games that are being played today, are going to be played today. Now, look at the games that were played yesterday. Just give me a minute. Yeah, we had, of course, Luxembourg lost. Luxembourg lost to Germany 4-0. Northern Ireland, funny enough, somebody scored a brace in that game, Joshua Kimmich, which was very strange. He's not a striker, but he scored 2 goals. Who would have thunk it? Then Northern Ireland beat Slovakia 2-0 yesterday. Kosovo had a goalless draw with Slovenia. And then Sweden, like we mentioned earlier, lost at home to Switzerland. Gyokeres and Isak, 5 blanks, no goals, no assists. So that is worrisome for Sweden. Then France beat Azerbaijan. We'll get to that in a little bit there, with Mbappe scoring a goal and getting an assist, and then also getting an ankle injury, and he was taken off there. Then Iceland lost in an 8-goal thriller at home, 5-3 to Ukraine. Kazakhstan beats Liechtenstein 4-0, and then Belgium, with Leandro Trossard leading the line, could only muster a goalless draw against Northern Macedonia. So those were the games for yesterday, and of course today we're going to have games today where Bulgaria will be playing host to Turkey, and then Spain, La Roja, will be playing host to Georgia. Hungary will be playing host to Armenia, and then Portugal will be playing host to Ireland. Norway will be playing host to Israel. Estonia will be playing host to Italy. Latvia will be playing host to Andorra. Serbia will be playing host to Albania. These are the main games in the World Cup qualifiers that we're going to be looking forward to. But yesterday we saw, like we mentioned, where France beat Azerbaijan by 3-0, and of course Kylian Mbappe, like we said, was on the score sheet, and that means he now has 53 goals for Le Bleu, which puts him 4 away from the record for Le Bleu. That's the highest goal scorers for the French national side.
Yeah, just 4 goals behind Olivier Giroud.
Yes, yeah. Just 4 goals behind Olivier Giroud. So the top 5 goal scorers for the French national side, male national side, you have Olivier Giroud with 57 goals. Now Kylian Mbappe with 53 goals. Thierry Henry with 51 goals. Then Antoine Griezmann, which is quite impressive, with 44 goals. And then the legendary Michel Platini, the former disgraced UEFA president, Michel Platini, with 41 goals. I think at the age of 26, going on 27, because he will be 27 on the 20th of December.
Okay.
I think it's a matter of if, not when, right?
I mean, it's just 4 goals. You can bet Hill Banks that he's going to get more than 4 goals between now and December. So, yes.
But Giroud is still playing. He hasn't retired.
Yeah, Giroud is still playing. But, I mean, you're going to bet your banks that Kylian Mbappe can score more than 4 or 5 goals before Giroud could get maybe extras.
Okay, so I think it's safe to say that this Mbappe, who seems to be like a freak of nature when it comes to goal scoring, getting to 60 goals is something that it's not a matter of if but when. Very soon.
Yes, it's just certainly that he will get there, but when will he get there is the question.
Okay, Mbappe, we have our eyes on you. We know what you're capable of doing, so just take it easy. We know it's just a case of staying injury-free, you will score. So, moving away from as we come to the end of the show, we have a bit of news that's outside of the world of football. Yeah, you're seeing the graphics there. We've just shown that what we were telling you about Olivier Giroud, the former Montpellier, Arsenal, Chelsea, and AC Milan striker who is currently playing his trade. Okay, he's back to I think his Nice, OGC Nice.
Yes.
So yeah, that he's playing for in the French league where it all began. The 39-year-old striker, he is still balling, but he has a record of 57 goals. A very, very underrated striker indeed. But Kylian Mbappe is hot on his heels with 4 goals. Just 4 goals to go to close up that gap and then become the all-time highest goal scorer for the French national team. And there you have it. This year, I think he scored 10 goals in 14 appearances with 4 assists. That is amazing. A goal every other game. A goal a game in terms of goal contributions.
Yes.
That is absolutely amazing 14 goals. I beg your pardon. What am I saying? 14 goals and 4 assists. That's 18 goal contributions in 10 games. That is almost 2 goals per game contributions. This guy is simply unstoppable. Now, talking about unstoppable, there is a sport that normally doesn't rely on stops all the time because speed is the name of the game. I'm referring to Formula One. The F1 circuit, and it is, I don't know what to make of this news. The Nigerian government, the federal government of Nigeria, have officially submitted a bid to host a Grand Prix in Abuja. That's, of course, the Formula One. We've had different Grand Prix all around the world in the calendar for Formula One, where you're going to have the best of riders who will be moving around and then doing their job. Max Verstappen, you have, of course, Lewis Hamilton. You have all of them there. So the chances of them converging in Nigeria as part of the annual Grand Prix campaign will be something special. We have the Sicilian Grand Prix. We have the Japanese Grand Prix. The Sao Paulo Grand Prix. We have different Grand Prix. Who knows when we're listening to the Abuja Grand Prix? But what do you make of this? Considering our roads.
Okay, now you have to first consider the roads first before you think of hosting a Grand Prix. And some will say that they have some good roads in Abuja, but it's not every part of Abuja that has good roads. Let's not tell ourselves lies. This is Nigeria. We're used to potholes and all that, but if they can get this sorted out before the official bid is sent out and it's accepted, why not? It's something of a great joy to see a Grand Prix in Nigeria. I mean, you could even see me or you buying a ticket down to Abuja to just go watch the Grand Prix.
Okay, I don't want to. I didn't say anything. I've not said anything. I
already know what you want to say.
Am I that predictable?
Yes.
Okay, let me say this. I remember when Alice, you were there, and then of course the GM, Mr. Mecca. I'm sorry, Mr. Namde. We co-hosted the Enugu International Marathon, and then we saw what happened. It was a massive event indeed. Enugu to the world in terms of sporting activities.
Yes.
But we also saw some things like there was one time when the winners of that marathon were moving, and then somebody was just walking casually there, obstructing one of the marathoners, one of the winners, one of the top 3.
Yes,
that's the Kenyan and Ethiopian contingent, was just casually walking there as if they should buy you a cow to move you out of the way, not knowing that it's an international marathon going on.
Yeah.
So my concern is, apart from the roads, the state of the roads, and maybe because we have our road safety. No, kudos to road safety doing a fantastic job there, trying to ensure that our cars are roadworthy. But we need another outfit to ensure that our roads are car worthy.
Yes.
So looking at Abuja, do you think that they'll be ready for a situation where maybe the Grand Prix is going on and then somehow this our dear Fulani cattle rearer just decides to cross the road with his Nama? How embarrassing would that look?
Okay, so it's down on the government actually now since this is the capital now we're talking about, there has to be maximum security. There has to be road agents that will be there to ensure that pedestrians and cattle rearers, like you mentioned, don't just go strolling across the road while the Grand Prix is happening. I mean, you won't love to see Lewis Hamilton trying to make some curves and you see some cattle coming down the lane. I mean, it's going to be crazy.
It sounds funny, but it's not funny.
It's not funny actually, but I mean, these are things that the federal government have to look at. They have to put measures in place to make sure that these things are avoidable. Not when you see these foreign stars come down to ABJ to come and have a Grand Prix, have a good time in Abuja, show what they are made of, and go back to where they are coming from. They see some certain anomalies on the road. I think that's the right word to use. Yeah, so the federal government just needs to put a lot of things in place and to make sure the roads are roadworthy for cars to be motorable, and they need to make sure that it's conducive for cars to pass without obstructions.
Emeka, I'm going to put you on the spot. We have just 1 minute to end this show. Emeka Madueke, a piece of football. I know this is not football, but I'm going to ask you, is Nigeria ready to host a Grand Prix?
At the moment?
I didn't say anything. You fill in the gaps yourself. Is Nigeria ready?
At the moment.
Is Nigeria capable of hosting a Grand Prix now? Let's tell ourselves the truth. Are we ready to host a Grand Prix? Is it a priority that we should have? And by the way, do the cons outweigh the pros or vice versa? Just 1 minute.
If I'm speaking freely, hope defense don't come for me.
No, yes or no? Yes or no? Our time is up.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so you heard Emeka, so you can go for him after that. Thank you very much, guys. I think that's about enough for the show. Thank you very much, everybody who has been part of this show on AFIA TV. We'll do this again on Monday by 5 p.m. and that's going to be the AFIA Review Square. Thank you very much, our floor managers, our producers, MCR, PCR. It has been a pleasure. Emeka Waneke, Piece of Football. Thank you very much, as usual, for being here. Thank you, our dear teaming audience out there, fans of AFIA TV and AFIA Radio. We will do this again on Monday, but stay tuned. Keep it locked on AFIA TV and have a blessed week ahead. Weekend, I beg your pardon, ahead. I'm CC the Rabbi, signing out.